What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Stay Fresh production. Today we're talking about the house of Parfums Vintage once again. The house has been very generous with me over the course of the past year or so, sending me multiple fragrances to review and to test out and to enjoy. So I've done a few reviews on my channel. If you've missed them, I'll try to link them down below or up top or something. So let's do a real quick recap. Probably their most popular release thus far would have to be Pineapple Vintage Intense, which is, in my opinion, one of the best alternatives to this fragrance we all know and love and hate, perhaps, Creed Aventus, which I absolutely love. This is my most worn fragrance of 2017. And this stuff is a gorgeous scent, and it's very close, but again, in my opinion, it does have some things that it does better than Aventus. Again, just in my opinion, and I do have a review on this. Like I said, if you want to know what that opinion is, you can check out the review. We also have this one that I did review not long ago. This is Bois de Mystère, which, if you didn't see the review, this is their take on By Kilian's Straight to Heaven, which I love, and this stuff is a great alternative. So they've kind of been on a roll with these alternatives. There's also one more fragrance here that they did send to me, but I didn't review it because it was kind of reviewed to death as soon as it came out, so I kind of held back on it, but I did take some time to test it out and, you know, kind of did my own personal review on it. And this is Suave from Parfums Vintage, and if you didn't know, this is their take on, in my opinion, the classic La Nuit de l'Homme from Yves Saint Laurent, which I love. And I will always have this fragrance. And while we're here, I might as well tell you what I think about Suave. To be real brief, it is similar to La Nuit de l'Homme. I'd say they open up about 90% similar or so, but from there they kind of diverge. La Nuit de l'Homme is way more spicy. This has almost like a balsamic feel to it, almost kind of like an oily nature to the scent. But again, as it dries down, it becomes less like La Nuit de l'Homme, but it becomes more like itself, and it's a beautiful scent with very good performance. I really enjoy it. A great alternative to La Nuit de l'Homme with good performance, but again, also kind of its own fragrance. So that's my take on Suave, if you were wondering. So now we're going to talk about the main event, why you clicked on this video perhaps. And this is the newest release from Parfums Vintage, which they are calling Pineapple Vintage X-Batch. It's a pretty intense name, honestly. And wow, okay. And if you didn't already know, basically what they're trying to do with this, or what they are allegedly trying to do, is combine two powerhouse fragrances in the community, Dior Sauvage and Creed Aventus. Put them together. I think that's where the X comes from. It's like an intersection of fragrances. So, in my opinion, this doesn't really smell like a cross between Creed Aventus and Dior Sauvage. It smells more like a cross between Pineapple Vintage Intense and Dior Sauvage. Probably because they already have their impression of Creed Aventus. I think they just took that impression and combined it with a brand new impression of Dior Sauvage. So it smells closer to this than Aventus, but again, this smells pretty close to Aventus anyway. Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. It's supposed to smell like both of these combined. So you're probably wondering, does it? Well, just to say, I didn't watch any other reviewers' reviews on X-Batch, simply because I didn't want my view and my review of it to be influenced by anyone else's opinion. After I release this review, then I will go back and watch the other reviews out there, because it's always good to see what other people are saying about it. But I wanted to get my own personal isolated take on the fragrance before I went and checked out other people's. So, X-Batch, what do I think of this? I really enjoy it. Does it smell like a cross between Dior Sauvage and Creed Aventus / Pineapple Vintage Intense? Yes, it does. It literally smells like they took the both of them and just poured them into this cauldron and mixed it up, and it's not that simple. I know it's not. What I get out of this fragrance opens up basically like a sweeter Sauvage, like a juicy, fruity, sweet Sauvage. You get pineapple and blackcurrant up top, mixed with that bergamot, kind of like lavender and peppery freshness that we get from Sauvage. Now, Sauvage comes off pretty spicy because there is Sichuan pepper in the top, I believe. Technically no spices in this, according to the note breakdown that they released, but I do get a spicy nature, a fresh spicy nature, which is the main accord of this fragrance. Perhaps the spiciness comes from the sharpness of the bergamot. Now, after about 5 minutes or so of this being on the skin, that sharpness slash spiciness begins to fade a bit, and we're left with that sweetness that remains, a sweet, fresh scent. Oh my goodness. I do have to say, this whole opening phase, I enjoy this more than I enjoy Sauvage. And I think it's, again, because of that sweetness, but that's just a personal bias. I do kind of gravitate towards a little bit more sweet fresh than just fresh and fresh spicy. But again, that's just me. Sauvage, I still enjoy it, but this does something better for me and my taste. So the lavender is really blooming here as we're getting into the heart, keeping it fresh. And we also have a bit of that cedar wood note, which I think is in the heart, which is interesting. You don't really see woody notes in the heart of a fragrance all that much, but allegedly that's what we have here. And it really brings, it kind of grounds the fragrance a little bit and keeps it from getting too light and airy, I think. Now this is an eau de parfum, and it performs like one. This basically lasts all day on my skin. It becomes a skin scent maybe after about the 6th hour or so, but you're gonna get decent projection within the first 4 hours or so. It's gonna be really present around you, and again, it's gonna last on the skin. Similar to Sauvage, which is no slouch for being an eau de toilette. I still don't believe, I know it says it here, it says right there, it's an eau de toilette. But I don't believe them, because this stuff lasts all day on my skin and projects extremely well. And that could have to do with the ambroxan in the base, which is also in this. As you might know, ambroxan is probably the major component of Dior Sauvage in terms of what you can actually smell and in terms of what holds it together. And we have the same situation here. The Sauvage ambroxan brings this real kind of fresh, almost metallic, and even kind of like soapy vibe to the fragrance, and even a little bit of sweetness, I believe. In X Batch, we have a sweet note pretty much at every stage of the fragrance, as well as a fresh note. Up top, we have pineapple and black currant. I believe part of that fruitiness fades into the heart, which joins this bergamot note and also joins neroli and lavender. And then by the time we're getting into the base, you think, oh, maybe we're running out of steam on the sweetness, but no, that ambroxan keeps it a little bit sweet, and also patchouli is down there, which can carry a sweetness to it. And also we have vetiver, which keeps it fresh, in addition to that lavender, which we had before. So you have the sweet and fresh accords riding all the way from top to bottom in parallel tandem, and it really makes for a very pleasing, very easy to wear fragrance. It's not going to evolve a whole lot. Similar to Sauvage, it stays fresh all the way through, stays very bright all the way through, and this one again a little bit sweeter all the way through. So, you know, it's hard. I can't say that this is redundant to Sauvage, because it is similar. Again, we have this infusion of, you know, pineapple vintage intense going in to Sauvage, but it is different in its own ways. The two can serve different purposes. So that's just my opinion. I don't remember the price currently on Pineapple Vintage X Batch. I will leave it right here in text. There will be text right there filling in the void that I could not fill because I didn't do the research beforehand. Anyway, do I recommend it? Yes, definitely recommend checking it out. They might even have samples online. I'll link the website down below. Please check it out. It's nothing groundbreaking. We've seen these things before. Part of me would like to say that I would love to see in 2018 Parfums Vintage be pursuing their own creation, something new, something fresh to the scene. They seem to have great quality with what they're doing, but I feel like simply trying to capitalize on what's already popular, what is undeniably popular, obviously is a good way to gain a foundation and to make a little bit of profit. But it would be nice to see them start to kind of venture out, take some chances, and create something new for us to check out. But what I'm saying is that everything that I've been receiving, I've loved more and more and more. They're stepping up their game little by little. So I look forward to see what 2018 holds for the house. So thank you guys so much, Parfums Vintage, for being so generous and gifting me with these fragrances to review. I look forward to staying in touch with you all, and we'll see what happens this year. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you tried this fragrance, let me know what you think, or just let me know what you think based on what you've heard. If you find it interesting, let's talk about it. You know the deal. Peace. I'll see you guys in the next one.